$38 trillion. The US government owes this much money, and here's what no one is telling you. They have absolutely no intention of ever paying it back. And the plan to make it disappear? It's not coming. It's already happening. Right now. While you're watching this video, I'm going to show you exactly how they're doing it. And by the end of this video, you'll see why you're the one who's going to pay for it. Okay, let's start with that number again. 38 trillion. How big is that? If you spent $1 million every single day since Jesus Christ was born, you still wouldn't have spent $38 trillion. Think about that. The entire US economy, everything America produces in a year, is about $27 trillion. So we owe more than the entire economy produces. The math literally doesn't work. And yet, nobody in Washington seems worried. They keep borrowing, keep spending. The system keeps running like there's no limit. Why? Because there's a plan. It's not in any official document. No press conference is ever going to announce it. But if you understand how the financial system actually works, it becomes crystal clear, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Here's the truth. Modern government debt was never designed to be repaid. It's designed to be managed. Or, more accurately, transferred. What I'm about to show you are 5 mechanisms, real, documented, being used right now that governments use to erase debt without technically defaulting. Each one has a different name, but they all have the same victim, you. Let's break them down. Mechanism number 1, the inflation tax. This is the one they don't explain on CNBC, so pay attention. When the government owes $38 trillion and inflation runs at just 4% per year, which the Fed now considers acceptable, something incredible happens. The real value of that debt shrinks by over $1.5 trillion. Every single year, it's invisible, it's automatic, and it's mathematically guaranteed. Now, here's where it gets interesting. In August 2020, the Federal Reserve changed their inflation framework. They went from targeting 2% to averaging 2% over time. That sounds boring, right? That's the point. That single word averaging gives them permission to let inflation run hot for years. They can say, well, it averaged out over the decade. This isn't conspiracy theory. This is stated policy. They announced it publicly. They just used language so boring that nobody paid attention. So while your groceries cost more, your rent goes up, your savings lose purchasing power, their debt becomes cheaper to service. Every year, silently, the burden shifts from the government's balance sheet to yours. That's the inflation tax. And you've been paying it for years without realizing it. Mechanism 2, financial repression. This is where it gets uncomfortable. For over a decade after 2008, interest rates were held artificially below the rate of inflation. That wasn't an accident. That wasn't market forces. It's a policy tool with a specific name. Economists Carmen Reinhart and Kenneth Rogoff documented this extensively. After World War II, the US and UK were buried in debt. Sound familiar? Here's what they did. They forced savers into government bonds that paid less than inflation, held them there for decades, and watched the debt-to-GDP ratio collapse. It worked. The debt got paid off. But it silently confiscated wealth from an entire generation of savers. Right now, if you keep money in safe government securities, you're earning roughly 4%. Inflation, even using the official numbers that are probably understated, has been running higher. You're being paid to lose money. And here's the kicker. Regulations require pension funds, insurance companies, and banks to hold these bonds. They can't opt out. You can't opt out. The system is designed to trap capital. That trapped capital finances the debt at below market rates. You are the lender. They set the terms, and the terms guarantee you lose. Mechanism 3, debt monetization. The money printer meme? It's not a meme. It's literally what central banks do. It has a technical name and everything. Between 2008 and 2022, the Federal Reserve's balance sheet went from under $1 trillion to $9 trillion. How? They created reserves digital money out of thin air and used it to buy government debt. Let me translate that into plain English. Step 1. The government borrows money by selling bonds. Step 2. The Federal Reserve, technically independent, but let's be honest, buys those bonds with money it created from nothing. Step 3. The debt doesn't disappear. It just moves from public investors to the central bank. Step 4. The central bank sends its profits back to the Treasury. It's a closed loop, the left hand borrowing from the right hand. Except both hands belong to the same body. Don't believe this actually works? Look at Japan. They've been doing this for 30 years. The Bank of Japan now owns over half of all Japanese government bonds. The playbook exists, it's been tested, and the US has already started down the same road. What's the cost? Currency debasement, asset bubbles, housing you can't afford, and eventually, the destruction of the bond market's credibility. But that's a problem for later, and later always feels far enough away until it doesn't. Mechanism 4. Fiscal dominance. This one's a bit technical, but it's absolutely critical to understand. In a normal economy, when inflation gets out of control, central banks raise interest rates. That's economics 101. But when debt reaches a certain level, most economists say around 100% of GDP raising rates becomes impossible. Why? Because every percentage point increase adds hundreds of billions to the government's annual interest bill. We're at $38 trillion in debt. A 2% rate hike means an extra $760 billion per year in interest payments. That's more than the entire defense budget. So the central bank faces an impossible choice: control inflation or keep the government solvent. They can't do both. When the government's fiscal needs start dominating monetary policy, that's fiscal dominance. And once you're there, inflation has to run higher, because the alternative is default or brutal austerity. And that's politically unacceptable. We watched this happen in real time. The Fed raised rates aggressively in 2022 and 2023. Then, despite inflation still being above target, they started signaling cuts. Why? Because the debt service costs became unsustainable. They blinked, and that tells you everything you need to know about who's really in charge. Mechanism 5. The reset. And this is where it gets truly disturbing. Throughout history, when debt becomes completely unmanageable, governments don't just default, they reboot the system. Sometimes it's a currency reform, sometimes it's a debt jubilee, sometimes it's a completely new monetary regime. Right now, and this isn't speculation, you can find the papers, there are quiet discussions happening. Central bank digital currencies, revised IMF special drawing rights, new international monetary frameworks. All of them share one feature. They give authorities the ability to restructure the system without calling it a default. Imagine this. A digital dollar gets introduced. One old dollar equals 0.7 new dollars. Instant 30% haircut. Your debt in old dollars? Paid off at full value. Your savings in old dollars? Converted at the discounted rate. Sound far-fetched? In 1933, Roosevelt revalued gold and effectively devalued the dollar by 40% overnight. France did it. Russia did it. It's been done before. The infrastructure for this exists right now. The legal frameworks have been studied, and history shows that when the alternative is systemic collapse, governments will pull this lever. So let's answer the real question. Who pays for all of this? Not the government. The debt gets inflated away. Not the ultra-wealthy. They hold assets, real estate, stocks, businesses that inflate right along with the currency. Not the banks. They're backstopped by central banks. It's the middle class. The savers, the fixed-income retirees, anyone holding cash or bonds or hoping their salary keeps up with rising costs. This isn't a bailout, it's a wealth transfer. Wealth moves silently from those who saved in the currency to those who borrowed in it, from creditors to debtors. And the biggest debtor of all? The US government. The debt doesn't disappear. It never does. It just gets paid by you through lower purchasing power, trapped capital, and monetary debasement, so gradual you barely notice it year to year. So here's the question you need to ask yourself. If the plan is already in motion, if inflation, repression, and monetization are the tools they're openly using, and if history shows they'll restructure the system when they have to, what are you doing to make sure you're not the one left holding worthless paper when the music stops? Look, I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm here to show you how the game is actually played. $38 trillion. They're not going to pay it back. So the only question that matters is, how much of it are they going to make you pay? Tell me in the comments. Did you know about these mechanisms? Which one surprised you the most? And most importantly, what are you doing to protect yourself? If this video changed how you see the financial system, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next one. And drop a comment telling me what topic you want me to cover next. I read every single one. Thanks for watching. And remember, in the game of debt, someone always pays. Make sure it's not you.